What's good, football fans? Back at you once again with another video. And today I wanted to come on and talk about KJ Henry, Washington's 5th round draft pick out of Clemson. Now this guy brings an interesting skill set to the table. And with, things kind of uncertain at edge rusher right now, there really could be a situation for him in the very near future. With Shaka Toney suspended, not knowing where that's going to go. And James Smith-Williams' contract is up after this season, and more than likely they're going to let him walk as well. And everybody knows about Chase Young and Montez Sweat, who gets the contract, who gets tagged, what's going to happen with that. But when all the dust settles, they're going to need somebody at that edge. And with a little work, I think that somebody could be KJ Henry. And with that said, let's just jump right into his film. Now, while KJ Henry didn't have a whole lot of sacks during his days at Clemson, what he did was disrupt. And I mean, this guy got in there and he got hurry after hurry and did things that probably should show up in the stat sheet, but really don't. I like some of his raw physical abilities that he's able to use, while he's pass rushing, that I think that if he honed in and got better with his handwork, could really be something that we could see hit another level from where he's at right now or where he was at in college. He's got a real nice little inside move. If you watch right here, as you see, he's able to dip inward and kind of just go right around that chip block and then spin right off the tackle and go inside. And he just barely misses the sack here, but he gets the batted pass. Again, the inside move this guy's got with the physical traits that he carries actually is kind of scary. If he's able to improve with his handwork, yeah. I mean, watch this. He's able to just crush the pass protection off of that edge right there and just terrorize the quarterback. Now, obviously, that's a blown, pass protection by the tight end right there. And the right tackle is not even looking at anybody worth blocking. Now, this particular play right here, I don't know how the hell that quarterback was able to get rid of this ball, but they lost yardage on that play. And he got in there and blew that play up. And it was already doomed a little bit before then, but it was definitely over with after he went across the line of scrimmage and blew it up. Now, a lot of what I've seen from scouts talking about this guy is that his handwork is not up to snuff. But to me, handwork is more than just being able to get off of the edge right there, and battle through the tackle. It's also being able to create turnovers by sticking your hands in the quarterback's face or, grabbing the ball as you're going by, whatever the case may be. Plays like this. See, plays like that, not only are you disrupting the entire play, but you're causing havoc on the offense and you're creating a turnover or you're creating a chance for a turnover that changes the entire play or the entire lay of the entire game at that point. Now, in this play right here, they're able to single out that right tackle and make a fool out of him right here with that little bit of stunt action. I mean, look exactly how is he supposed to block that? And the fullback doesn't do a very good job of this as well. Like, they fall for, that man over there on the edge while the other two guys go around them and just blow the play completely up. Henry's able to get in there without even being touched. Look at that. I mean, completely clean. He goes all the way through there with nobody touching him and the right tackle looking like a complete buffoon. Now, in this play here, he's able to use his hands and get off of the edge and around that tackle and do what he needs to do to get in the backfield. Now, I'm not trying to say that Miami's right tackle is the greatest in the world there, but what I am trying to say is I keep hearing that this is his weakness, and I keep seeing that he has the ability to use his hands. It's just a consistency issue, I believe, is what's going on with this kid. And some coaching up definitely could get him where he needs to be. I mean, it's obvious. You can see the burst off that edge once he gets around his guy. It's there. You add a couple more moves and some better hands, I could see him being an above average pass rusher with those abilities added. I like to see a guy like this. I mean, he completely runs around the right tackle right here, but he stays in his lane all the way around that right tackle. The right tackle has to feel kind of silly there, but he goes all the way around him and he gets the sack. Boom. I mean, I'm not sure you could draw that up any better. Obviously, in the pro game, I'm not sure if that many right tackles would get hung out to dry in this manner right here, but this is just a thing of beauty. Just a bit ago, I mentioned his ability to be able to strip the ball or if he can create turnovers off the edge, and here he is again doing just that, coming off the edge, getting good pressure and creating, a turnover opportunity as he strips the quarterback. Again, this guy has a really good inside move that a lot of offensive tackles have had issues with when they're matched up against him. I mean, as you see right there, he's on top of the quarterback before the quarterback really has time to do anything. And the guy that he's matched up against there really doesn't have a chance from the get-go. Now, in this Notre Dame game, I saw him getting held up a lot on the edges and having issues getting any pressure in the game. But as you see right here, he was able to get in, and actually, I believe he got a sack in this game, and they played one other time during the season, and he got a sack in that game as well. But one weakness I did see is I wasn't all that impressed with his strength. It does seem like the bigger linemen are able to kind of do with him what they want. That doesn't mean that he isn't able to still get around some of those guys with the athleticism that he has and be able to disrupt and get pressure and in some situations get sacks. But, that's one weakness that I did see. I mean, you see him here coming off the edge here, using his leverage and getting around that turn. And once he hits that turn, I mean, it's pretty obvious he's going to get a sack on that play. There's a little neck whip there, too, like, little WWE action for you there. Oh, yeah, inside the rules WWE action. Here's that other sack against Notre Dame. And like I was saying before, he was pretty much getting it handed to him this entire game on that edge by 72, and he was able to finally get through and get a sack here and create some havoc. But all game long, 72 kind of had his number there, especially in the rushing game. This guy doesn't set the edge like I really would like to see him doing. There's still room for improvement there. This officially was the only time I saw him almost get an interception or have the ball come at him in a situation where he could get an interception, I should have said. One thing I noticed about this kid is he's got a high-octane motor. It continues to run all through the play until the play is over with. And as you see on this play right here, he starts off, and his guy kind of gets the best of him on the play as far as the block, but he doesn't give up. He continues down the field, and he ends up making a tackle. Just a minute ago, I was beating up on him about not setting the edge good enough. And then, of course, this clip right here pops back up to remind me that he can set the edge. He's just a little inconsistent about it. He needs more work. Maybe that has something to do with the fact that he only had 1 year as a starter in that defense. He did play a lot, for the team, but he only had 1 year as a starter. So he only had 1 year as a full-time player. Maybe that's why he still needs work in some of these areas. One thing I always like to see on the film is his ability to be able to swat the ball out of the air. It's almost as important to me as his ability to be able to strip the quarterback, from behind or from the side when he's coming, next to him. As this play shows right here, he has those long arms that can get out there and make connections with the ball as it comes out of the quarterback's arm before it gets to the receiver. It's just another way for him to disrupt the offense, and it's another way that he can do damage for that Washington Commanders defense. Here's the play here with his athleticism actually takes him all the way around, but it still creates, because as you see, the rest of the defense is able to take advantage of the quarterback having to step up because Henry's going around the edge there. See that? Yep. And they get the sack. Again, staying home, playing his lanes, makes the stop. And he smothered that play. A nice tackle for loss there. And again, here's another one. Stayed at home, and he smothered that play again. Another tackle for loss on the edge there. Pretty much the same situation. Now, with the option being used more and more in today's game, I always want to see how these players on the edge react and how well they're able to defend against that option. If they're able to stick with the quarterback if the quarterback goes one way, or if they're if they can stick with the running back if he decides to go inward. Whatever happens, I like to be able to see the guy setting that edge be able to react well to the play. Sometimes these bigger guys do not react well at all. They get kind of dumbfounded, stuck there like, durr. I noticed it. Really, honestly, I didn't really notice it a whole lot before I started seeing RG3 run that option in the NFL. But after that, I've noticed, a lot of the bigger guys, they have problems being able to do what KJ Henry's doing right there. Again, he's able to fight through the block and set the edge. fight through the block, and set the edge. Make the tackle. Again with that killer inside move. I mean, that's a pretty nasty inside flex right there. And there's not a lot of offensive tackles anywhere that are going to be able to react well to that. I mean, it's got some speed on it. It's got some natural physical ability coming off of those edges. If he adds some size to that frame and gets a little bit more used to using his hands, you know, as open combat, you know, devices, if you would, I think this kid could actually turn into something decent. Here he's able to display that one-arm shiver and shove his man backwards and put some pressure on the play, wreak some havoc, put his hand on the quarterback. He damn near made the sack, but the quarterback's pass was off and he wasn't able to complete the play. Watch him take 54's lunch away from him on like 3 different plays right here in a row. There's one. Watch him on this one. Inside move. There's 2. I mean, killing it on those 2 plays, right? Okay, it was 2 in a row. But watch him on that last one again. I mean, that's a beauty right there. He fought through 2 blocks on that play right there, but 54 should be ashamed of himself. Another knock that I notice is from time to time, this guy's a little bit over aggressive. He tends to kind of overrun the play sometimes, which I know happens every once in a while with these guys, especially, you know, these long and spindly guys. You know, this guy's 6'4" and 250. People might say that he's undersized for an edge rusher, but a guy that size, if he gets to going, maybe he overruns his play every once in a while. And this play right here is just another example of him and number 11 both just overexerting and overrunning the play. The quarterback's able to slide out and, you know, do whatever he did right there. Real quick from his scouting report, strengths: high energy rusher with lower body quickness and flexibility, introduces hesitation and physical hands to stress blockers in different ways, leans on a club swim to help him clear the outside shoulder, creates a power surge when he gets underneath pads and uses his full extension to walk blockers backwards, agile footed to cross the face of the tackle and create an inside rush lane, makes himself skinny to squeeze through gaps, has a knock for finding passing lanes at the line of scrimmage for bat down opportunities, plenty of second effort plays on tape, red hot motor helps him chase from the backside or track down screen passes, learned how to train in the weight room, could bench press 225 pounds just once as a freshman, but did it 24 times at his pro day. His father has 30 plus years of experience coaching at the college level, and KJ grew up around high-level athletes, led the Clemson defensive line in snaps with 664 in 2022. Also should add there that KJ's dad is a huge Washington Redskins / Commanders fan. His weaknesses: lacks desired size with only mediocre length and build, average edge setter, and will struggle to dig his cleats in versus mauling NFL tackles, can be sealed or washed and needs to develop his hand efficiency to disengage, finds himself buried when he sacrifices his balance to make plays. Pass rush repertoire requires further examination to keep blockers guessing. Counters are active but not always controlled. Often arrives in the backfield out of control and needs to be a more consistent finisher. Only 1 season of full-time work in production, never reached 5.0 sacks or double-digit tackles for loss in a single season. Wasn't a full participant at the combine or pro day because of a right hamstring tweak. He's an older player and already at the age of 24. Summary: a 1-year starter at Clemson, Henry lined up at left defensive end and defensive coordinator Wes Godwin's multiple fronts. Growing up around the game as the son of a longtime college coach, he became a full-time starter in 2022. Even though he finished 5th on the team in sacks, he led the Clemson defense in quarterback pressures with 53 by a healthy margin. Tyler Davis had the second most with 36. A ball of energy off the edge, Henry doesn't like to be blocked and has the quick feet and active hands to leverage gaps. Though he is a persistent fighter in the run game, he can get short-armed and engulfed as an edge setter. Overall, Henry isn't the biggest or the fastest and isn't built to be an every down impact player in the NFL, but he plays with burst, hustle, and know-how to break down the rhythm of blockers in different ways. He has the tools to compete for a sub-rusher role as a rookie. Now, they gave him a 4th round grade, and since Washington took him in the 5th, I'd call that a win. During his 58 appearances and 24 starts at Clemson, he had 130 tackles, 28 for loss, 13.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and was second team All-ACC his senior year. He also had a pretty decent 40 time at his pro day, was a 4.63, I believe. That's not too bad for an edge. I realize that Montez Sweat is over there at like 4.3, but he is a freak. But listen, folks, one thing to pay attention to when you're looking at a rookie edge rusher this year is what can he bring to the table next year, or perhaps what can he bring to the table if and when they have injuries in 2023. Now, if there's one guy that's on the roster right now that should probably be looking over his shoulder, it should be Casey Toohill. And I realize that Del Rio has used him some in packages over the last couple years, but if he has another guy that can do some of the same things, Casey Toohill should start paying attention to what's going on. Mainly because the depth on the team is at the point right now where he's expendable. You know, they already got Montez Sweat, Chase Young, James Smith-Williams. Now they got KJ Henry. Not to mention they got F.A. Obata and Andre Jones Jr. too, another rookie. But this is a guy I could see them using as a situational pass rusher at first. But you're dealing with a team that doesn't have a lot of players at the defensive end position under contract past this season. So KJ Henry is actually low-key walking into a good situation. And looking at his film, he's also improving from year to year. This is a guy you need to keep your eyes on. He's going to get better the longer he stays in the system. I know I, for one, am looking forward to being able to see him, maybe in camp a little bit, and definitely in the preseason. Now, do me a favor, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Y'all take it easy. Peace.